In this video, we'll be covering everything you need to know for early Britain. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And if you'd like to learn more about my full Life in the UK test course, head to uklifeprep.com, link in the description below. Let's jump in. During the Stone Age, the first people to live in Britain were hunter-gatherers who came and went following animals which they hunted. They were able to come to Britain via a land bridge which connected mainland Europe to Britain, but around 10,000 years ago, Britain became permanently separated by the Channel. The first farmers arrive around 6,000 years ago, most likely from Southeast Europe. They built houses, tombs, and monuments. Two famous ones still standing today are Stonehenge in the English county of Wiltshire, as well as Skara Brae on Orkney, which is an island off the coast of mainland Scotland. Stonehenge, as you can see here, is an arrangement of giant rocks that were most likely used for seasonal ceremonies. And Skara Brae is a well-preserved prehistoric village. Things I'd remember from this section would be who the first people were that came to Britain, when the first farmers came to Britain and where they came from, and the two famous Stone Age sites and where they are located. Looking at some typical questions. The first question reads, who were the first people to live in Britain in what we call the Stone Age? We saw that these were hunter-gatherers. The next question reads, which of the following is a famous Stone Age site in the UK? Looking at the options, the only Stone Age site we can identify is Stonehenge. Following the Iron Age was the Bronze Age, which started around 4,000 years ago, and as the name suggests, it was a period when people started using bronze. People of the Bronze Age lived in round houses and buried their dead in round burrows. Here you can see a round house, which is literally a round house, and here is a round burrow, which is also literally a round burrow. There typically aren't that many questions on material in this section, but I have seen the occasional rare one about where people buried their dead during the Bronze Age, so I'd suggest you remember that one to be safe. Looking at a typical question, the question reads, where did people of the Bronze Age bury their dead? We saw that this was in round burrows. Following the Bronze Age was the Iron Age, which is a period when people started making tools and weapons out of iron. People of the Iron Age also minted the first coins in Britain and inscribed the names of Iron Age kings on these coins. They continued to live in round houses, and these were grouped into settlements called hill forts, which they sometimes defended. Maiden Castle is an impressive hill fort that can still be seen today. Here is an aerial photograph of Maiden Castle. The language spoken during this period was part of the Celtic family. Things I'd remember from this section would be when the first coins were minted and what was inscribed on them, and the language spoken during the Iron Age. Looking at some typical questions. The first question reads, which language was spoken by the people during the Iron Age? We saw that this was Celtic. The next question reads, what was inscribed in the first coins to be minted in Britain during the Iron Age? We saw that it was the names of Iron Age kings. In 55 BC, Julius Caesar leads a Roman invasion of Britain which is unsuccessful. About 100 years later, in AD 43, Emperor Claudius leads a new Roman invasion which is successful. During this invasion, there is resistance from native British tribes, and one of the most famous was a tribal leader known as Boudica. She is still remembered today, and there is a statue of her on Westminster Bridge by Houses of Parliament. The Romans never conquered the north of Britain, and Emperor Hadrian built a wall to keep out the Picts, who were ancestors of the Scottish people. Here we can see some remnants of Hadrian's Wall. Hadrian's Wall had many forts, and the forts of Halsteads and Vindolanda can still be seen today. The Romans built roads, public buildings, created a structure of law, and introduced new plants and animals. The Romans left in AD 410 after being in Britain for around 400 years. Things I'd remember from this section would be who led a rebellion against the Romans, which Roman emperor built a wall and who it was aimed at keeping out, the two forts along Hadrian's Wall which can still be seen today, what the Romans did during their time in Britain, and how long the Romans remained in Britain for. Looking at some typical questions, the first question reads, who is remembered for their rebellion against the Romans? We saw that this was Boudica. The next question reads, Hadrian's Wall was built to keep out who? We saw that this was the Picts. The next question reads, the Romans remained in Britain for 200 years. True or false? We saw that they remained in Britain for 400 years, and therefore this statement is false. Following the Romans leaving, Britain was invaded again by tribes from northern Europe, known as the Jutes, Angles, and Saxons, and by AD 600, Anglo-Saxon kingdoms were established in Britain. Sutton Hoo is a famous burial place for one Anglo-Saxon king, who is buried with his treasure and armor in a ship under a mound of earth. Christian missionaries arrive in the 3rd and 4th centuries to preach about Christianity. The most famous of these missionaries was St. Patrick and St. Columba from Ireland and St. Augustine from Rome, who later became the first Archbishop of Canterbury. Things I'd remember from this section would be what Christian missionaries did, who the 3 famous early Christian missionaries were, and who the first Archbishop of Canterbury was. Just a note, in later videos we will look in more detail about what exactly the Archbishop of Canterbury is, but for now, you just need to remember who the first one was. Looking at some typical questions. The first question reads, what are St. Augustine and St. Columba known for? We saw that they were Christian missionaries. The next question reads, who was the first Archbishop of Canterbury? We saw that this was St. Augustine. The Vikings come from Denmark, Norway, and Sweden in AD 789. The Vikings posed a threat to the Anglo-Saxons, so they united under King Alfred the Great, who defeated them. In the north, the continuous threat of Viking invasion also caused the people there to unite under Kenneth MacAlpin, and the term Scotland was used to describe that country. Anglo-Saxon kings continued to rule what is now England, except for a short period when Danish kings ruled, and the first of these was Canute. Things I'd remember from this section would be which king the Anglo-Saxons united under, and which king the Scottish people united under. Looking at some typical questions, the first question reads, who united the Anglo-Saxon kingdoms and defeated the Vikings? We saw that this was King Alfred the Great. The next question reads, who was Kenneth MacAlpin? We saw that he was the Scottish king. William, Duke of Normandy, from northern France, successfully invades Britain, earning him the title William the Conqueror. He defeats King Harold at the Battle of Hastings in 1066, and this marks the last successful foreign invasion of Britain. This battle is commemorated on an impressive embroidery called the Bayeux Tapestry, which can still be seen in France today. It's around 70 meters long, and here's a section of it. William the Conqueror sent his men all over England to draw up lists of people and the land and animals they owned, and this was compiled into what is called the Domesday Book, which still exists today. This topic seems to always be assessed in the Life in the UK test, so I'd suggest you remember pretty much everything here, including the 2 names of William, the name of the battle where he defeats King Harold, the year of the Norman Conquest, the fact that the Norman Conquest was the last successful invasion of Britain, what the Bayeux Tapestry is, and what the Domesday Book is. Looking at some typical questions. The first question reads, which 2 records provide information during the time of William the Conqueror? We saw that both the Domesday Book and Bayeux Tapestry both still exist today and provide information on this time. The next question reads, when was the last successful foreign invasion of Britain? We saw that this was during the Norman Conquest, which was in 1066. Hi there, my name is Dan and I hope you enjoyed watching. I've posted this video for free on YouTube, and if you've liked what you've seen and want to access my full Life in the UK test course, then head to uklifeprep.com, link in the description below. In my course, I've completely stripped down the official guide and cut away all the nonsense to focus on what you actually need to know for the questions that are actually asked. Having prepared for the test myself, I know firsthand how painful it is going through 150 pages of dense facts and not having a clue the types of questions you'll get asked. I've used my 10+ years of experience in online education to build an easy to follow online course that promises to get you 100% ready in the shortest amount of time possible. To show your support and get updates on any new videos I release, please subscribe to my channel by clicking here, and to watch more free videos that I have posted on YouTube, click the playlist here. I look forward to learning with you and wish you the best of luck in the test.